Hey guys, so this week I read The Oath, which is a Doctor Strange mini-series comic, and I actually really enjoyed myself because I was reading it because I'm a huge fan of Doctor Strange, and mostly because of the film, to be honest, and I just watched the film yesterday at time of filming this, and I flipping love it. But if you want to read my review of that, that's on my blog, link to that below in the description. Anyway, I wanted to know before I saw the film what Doctor Strange was all about, because from what I'd read online, it was more like he was sort of like what happens when you put BBC Sherlock, Tony Stark and Loki together, smack it all together, and you sort of get Doctor Strange. And that was a really sort of narrow way of talking about it, because he's a hell of a lot more than that actually, and that's just sort of like the bare basics if you're trying to talk to someone who's not seen the film or anything yet. So I wanted to read the comic just to sort of get a better idea about what he's about, and I was highly recommended The Oath actually, because The Oath is a five comic mini series which acts as a story that is sort of typical for Doctor Strange and an origin story while introducing a hell of a lot of characters as well. And it's sort of what is sort of like a 3-in-1 sort of analysis of what he is, and sort of giving you exactly what kind of thing he gets up to as well. Because The Oath focuses around the story of Doctor Strange trying to save Wong, who is his manservant in the comics. He's different in the film actually, but in the comics he's sort of like his servant type thing. And he's sort of like his John as well, in the sense that he sort of keeps him safe and sort of does all the research and all the rest of it for him. But Wong is really ill in this comic, and Doctor Strange tries to save him with a magical potion thing. And it's him, and there's people trying to stop him from actually using it, because it's a pretty damn powerful potion. And it's sort of like, it explains through that how he lost the use of his hands, how he got to magic, why he's with Wong, and a few of his other sort of big enemies are briefly mentioned. So it's sort of like a good primer if you want to get into Doctor Strange, basically. And I really enjoyed it because it really gave you a really good sense of who this guy is, what he's all about, and all the rest of it. And it sort of gave you a really good idea about what his personality is and everything else, which was really, really nice, actually. It gave me a hell of a lot more of an understanding of the character. So if you do want to go see the film but you have no idea who this guy is, definitely read The Oath, because The Oath is sort of, it's the good sort of starting point if you don't want to go all the way back to the beginning of all of his comics and read from there, because there's hundreds of issues. This is sort of like a good little starting point where you can sort of spin off into other sort of mini series after that, because you've got on the backstory and all the rest of it, which is awesome, to be honest. And I really enjoyed it actually, because it had a really good mix of sort of storyline, backstory and humour in it as well. Because there's quite a lot of humour in it, and there's quite a lot of name dropping of other Marvel characters. Because you see Iron Fist, he mentions the Avengers, the Defenders, Night Nurses in it. It's sort of like you get a lot of other characters in it, and a lot of sort of humour to do with them, and a lot of sort of mentioning in them. So it really sort of grounds it in the Marvel cinematic, well, in the Marvel universe anyway. And you sort of see all these different people and who are also in all the TV shows, so it's not, you're not having to Google who the hell all of these people are, because you already know who they are, because you've either seen the trailer for them or they've already been in the universe already. And I really like the humour in it as well, because the humour, okay, I'm just going to come out and say it, the humour is based around Sherlock Holmes. And if you couldn't tell by my t-shirt that says, "Did you miss me /IOU?" I'm a bit of a Sherlock fan, if you didn't already guess that. So he keeps on calling Night Nurse Watson, and she keeps on calling him Sherlock, and it's sort of like a fun little thing. And it was funnily written before Benedict was cast for the film, so that was sort of like a really cool prophetic thing in this comic as well. And it sort of gave me all these nerdy feelings, which was amazing. And probably not the point, but I really enjoyed that sort of thing in this comic as well, because I'm a proper nerd, and if you're a Sherlock fan as well, that's probably going to make you laugh. But he's constantly sort of sassing about, and there's quite a lot of one-liners, and they are quite cheesy, and it is all quite camp, to be honest. But it's sort of part of the fun and the enjoyment of it, really. So you can sort of get behind all of that humour while you're at it. So it's not cringy as such, but it is sort of classic sort of comic book sort of humour in a lot of it. and it's quite camp in places. But if you really like that kind of thing, you'll be fine. If you're not quite used to that kind of thing, then it takes a bit of getting used to, like it did for me. But once you get over that, it's a really good read. I would recommend it. Even if you have already seen the film or you are a Doctor Strange fan already, I would say The Oath is a good one to read, because it just sort of gives you everything you need in a story, and especially if you don't know who this guy is, it's really good for that, because you sort of get everything in one hit, and you sort of go, oh, this is who this guy is, this is what he's all about, and all the rest of it, and you get a good primer on basically everything, and anything else you need in further comics you can do to Google, basically. And I really enjoyed it, actually, and it was my first comic book, so I'm quite pleased with my choice. And so if you guys agree with me or anything, please tell me down in the comments, because that'd be awesome. And if you're a fan of this character or any of the other Marvel comics, please recommend me some down in the comments as well, because I really want to get into these comics, but I'm not exactly sure where to start or any of the other characters I should go for, because otherwise I'm just going to start going through all of the MCU and just start from there. But I'm not sure exactly if there's any sort of mini series that I should read first, or if there's any really good storylines that I should read. So if you've got any recommendations for that for me, please tell me down in the comments. If it helps, I'm really a big fan of all the Avengers and Punisher and all of the Defenders, if that helps at all. But yeah, it's anything like that, it would be really useful. And if there's any other comic books outside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, well, the Marvel Universe anyway, please also recommend them down to me down in the comments as well, because I really want to get into this stuff. And if you want to see more of my videos where I will be sort of going through books and comic books and all the rest of it, please click subscribe, that'd be awesome. But until next time, guys, bye!